Oh, all right. Once again, I had a subscriber ask a question, and I was going to answer him, but it would have taken a long time. So I figured, hey, why not just make a video? So if you guys ever have questions, stuff, don't hesitate to request a video, because I pretty much ride all the time, and I like to record every time I ride. So it's not that difficult for me to make a video. Just takes time to edit it. But anyway, the question he asked was about shifting, upshifting, downshifting, when to shift. Do you shift according to preference? Because I had a video about starting on a leader bike, and I was talking about downshifting in corners or when I'm in residential going slow. You want me to do a wheelie? Ain't happening. Or wreck my bike to entertain you? I don't think so. Go get your own bike, do a wheelie. Anyway, so about shifting. If you haven't taken your class, then you don't know what shifting is or how shifting is. A motorcycle is a lot like a stick shift in a car. So if you've driven a car, just think it has the same mechanics. But if you haven't driven a car, think about it this way. This is the best way I can describe it. I'm sure 90, if not 100% of you have driven a 10-speed bike, right? We starting on a 10-speed bike. You start in that first gear, right? When you start off, and when you get fast enough, you switch it to the second gear. And then when that one goes as far as it can go, you shift into the next gear. A motorcycle is very similar to that. So you wouldn't start out on your 10th gear on your 10 speed, right? No, if you did, it'd be really hard to pedal, right? It wouldn't go anywhere. Same as a motorcycle. If you start off in 6th gear, it's going to lag. Like right now, okay, let me shift. I'm going about 40 miles an hour. Let me shift into 6th gear. Look at this, I'm cracking the throttle hard as crap, and it's not going up because the gear is too high for the speed on which I'm going. 25 miles an hour would take about anywhere from 1st to 3rd gear. So that's why when, let's say, I slow down, then I downshift to a lower gear. Right now I'm in 1st, then I shift to 2nd. I'm gonna stop over here so I can, talk more and describe it. But basically, you change gears to match the speed in which you're going. And what I was saying about downshifting is that these things have so much power, right? That most cars, most stick shifts, have to shift out of 1st gear at around 35 miles an hour. When I say have to shift, basically you need to shift. The point of when you have to shift, when you absolutely have to shift, is when the tachometer, which is what gauges your RPMs, when it hits red line, you have to shift. Otherwise, you're going to cause damage to your engine, hence the red zone, right? But you can really shift anywhere within this RPM range depending on your preference. Most people like to shift in the lower RPMs, maybe around 3,000 to save gas, right? But if you're riding a sport bike, or mostly any bike, but definitely sport bikes, you can shift all the way to the red line and you'll be in like 70 miles an hour. And that's okay. You're burning a lot of gas, yeah. But for those people who want to get on it real fast and shoot out from the light, they rev it all the way almost to red line, then shift. And that's how people take off really, really fast. See, if you're shifting at 35 miles an hour, you still got a lot more RPM left, So if you're racing somebody, he's going to pass you up. You shift way before him. He's already still going 70 miles an hour. About time you shift in the 3rd, he's just shifting in the 2nd, and he's blowing past you because he's stretching his gears out. That's what I call stretching your gears out. So if you're a newbie, you don't have to shift at 35 miles an hour. Until you get good, I would suggest it, till you get comfortable with it. But you can even go slow up to 70 miles an hour in first gear just to get the feel of it. That's the trick I tell people. If you want to find out how fast you can go on your bike in any gear, just one day go to a road that has a high speed limit and run it and watch the I can't pronounce it, tachometer. Watch it and see how fast you can go until it redlines. And then after that, you'll know exactly how fast you can shoot out in first or even second gear. This bike, I could do 80, maybe 85 before I redline. Second gear, I can do 120. Now I know my speedometer is most likely off a little bit. Most motorcycles are, but that's what my gauges are showing. So I'll give you an example. Let me get out this parking lot. Let's see, I'm at 25 miles an hour right now, 25, and it's at 3,500 RPM. Now what I meant before about when I shift in a second, sometimes when I'm in a residential area, even though I can go to 70 in first gear, it has a lot of power and a lot of torque. So you remember how I said that if you start off in a higher gear, it'll be like slow? Well, sometimes I do that intentionally so I don't have to worry about it jumping. So I'll shift intentionally into a higher gear that I shouldn't be, just so if I want to one-hand it and not have to worry about if I hit the throttle too much, it'll jump back. So I'll be in a residential area and I'll shift to third gear. Now third gear can go up to 130 miles an hour, even more than that, but when I'm riding on residential, it's just perfect for me to be able to cruise with one hand, and just in case if something goes wrong and I hit the throttle, it won't jump back at me. Why? Because I'm in a way higher gear than I need to be for that speed. So, all right, I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna stretch first gear. So if you got a sport bike, 600 or even a 1300, it doesn't matter. Most of them will go, even 600 will go 70 miles an hour first gear. So I know it feels like the engine is straining and it feels like you're doing something bad, but as long as you're hitting that red line, you're fine, okay? So this will help you with your takeoff. I'm wait till this car goes. Well, actually, I'll go. All right, so when y'all watch, still going. Look at that. Okay, so now I'm gonna give you an example of shifting like a normal person and not a heathen. All right, just cruising, want to save some gas. All right, 30 miles an hour. Maybe you don't like the sound of the engine, it's too loud. Second gear, I'm about to shift in third. I'm at 50 miles an hour. Now I could have been in first gear this entire time, right? I'm going to fourth. I'm at 50. Now I know first gear can go to 70, but I'm saving gas. I don't like the noise, and it's more relaxing. I can one-hand it without that big jump in torque. If I twist my wrist, like, see, it's got a little jump, but not like it would have in first gear. And now I'm going to 15, right? 50 miles an hour. Look, downshift third, second, first. Now you don't have to downshift like that. Sometimes you can pull in the clutch and just downshift without wasting your gas. What's up? Woo! It's a nice little turnabout. So now I'm in first gear. Miles an hour. Alright, now I'm in second. See, you see what a lot of guys don't, well, I don't say a lot of guys, but I've met a few guys who didn't know that, and they would say, man, my buddy has a lot more fun than me on my bike. I don't know if I want to learn how to ride like him. And I asked the guy, because I mentioned about downshift, and he's like, what do you mean downshift? And I told him, I'm like, I'll be on the highway, I'll stick in downshift in the second gear, right? Because we've seen that my bike will go 70, 80 miles an hour in first gear, right? So if I'm on the freeway and I'm doing 70 and I'm in 6th gear, I can downshift all the way to 1st gear and still not be redlining. That's if you really want that big jump in power and you're on the freeway playing with your buddies and you just wanna cut past somebody. That's why people downshift. I most likely downshift in the 2nd on the freeway instead of 1st. Cause as soon as you drop down to 1st, you're gonna be redlining. So I drop down to 2nd. And 2nd will go all the way up to about 120. So that's why people downshift, right? Get that big burst of speed. Because you won't have that big burst of speed in 6th gear that you will in 2nd gear. So they on the freeway, they downshift to 2nd and max out 2nd gear, 3rd gear, you about doing 130 miles an hour. So that's the key when you're out with your boys, y'all racing, having fun, whatever. That's how those guys get that power. And it, honestly, upshifted and downshifted makes your driving so much more active and more fun. It's starting to sprinkle outside. It makes it that much more fun. You don't want to be sitting outside riding in 1 gear the whole time. That's boring. I might have to stop, put my camera inside my bag. I ain't getting my camera wet. Get that.